That night seemed like it was beyond fun. I mean, we had fun. Everyone was just drinking.
And we were so excited. Googled mapped popular clubs in Orlando, and Pulse was the first one to come up.
It was so much fun there. I mean, the experience of Pulse was just one you couldn't compare to any other club here in Orlando.
Living life to the fullest and having a good time and being in our own zone.
The excitement, the adrenaline, drinking, the good times, the laughter here and there, the joy in people's faces. It's just pure fun, pure fun.
When you walked out of the house, you said, where do you want to go? Let's go to Pulse.
And we were having the time of our lives.
It was a place of joy. And on the 12th, that joy was taken away.
On Sunday morning, early morning, we were just having a great time. We're all there, you know, having a drink. It was just shortly after 2. We're saying our goodbyes. I'm hugging everyone. It was a great night.
Right around when they stopped serving alcohol, that's when we heard the first round of shots go off.
At first, we didn't know that there were gunshots. I didn't know. I was so confused. I was like, wow.
Out of nowhere, we just hear a big shotgun. We stop what we're doing, and then it just keeps going.
The gunshots were getting louder. The smell was getting stronger. The gunpowder. It smelled like firecrackers on the 4th of July.
More people are falling. People are running. Glasses are getting dropped, and then people are passing me. Like, I'm getting covered in blood from other people.
After the second shot, there was a pause, and then it just started shooting.
A little after 2 o'clock in the morning, he hears gunfire, sees a person shooting at people inside the club right near the doorway, and Officer Gruller immediately engages with the suspect and exchanges gunfire with him. He realizes he is extremely outgunned.
We just grabbed each other, we started running, and unfortunately, I was shot about 3 times in my leg, so I had fallen down. I tried to get back up, but everyone started running everywhere. I got trampled over.
Let's go.
I shattered and broke my bones on my left leg.
Yo, who was shooting like that in there?
I don't know.
Shots go off. How many?
The initial one was about 3 or 4. That was a shock. 3 or 4 shots go off, and you could just tell it was a high caliber. Everyone froze. I'm here in the back, and then I saw people start pouring into the back staff hallway, and they just sardine pack everyone.
Look. Everybody's running.
I was notified by one of our deputy chiefs, say, and have you been notified of this? And I said, no. And so I immediately got dressed and headed down there to the scene.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
Shooting at pools. There's a shooting, active shooting at pools.
Where? Where are you?
It's in the Orange Avenue Pools nightclub.
Pools nightclub?
Yeah. They're shooting. They're oh my God.
Okay, stay on the phone with me. Don't hang up.
Emergency 911, this is Dr. Lawrence being recorded.
Oh my God, in there, I kept shooting in there. Who got shot in there?
There's a guy that got shot.
When they first relayed the information to me, even I was surprised and in shock.
Oh my God, they're all shooting back and forth.
What's going on at Pulse nightclub?
I don't know. We're hearing gunshots like crazy.
Okay, hold on the line for Orlando Police Department. Try to get yourself somewhere safe. Don't hang up the phone.
Look, he's shot. He's shot.
Oh my God, Jesus.
They said, no, we had an officer there. It's a shooting. There are multiple people who have been shot.
Heads up, we got a shooting. Multiple patients, up to 20 at the Pulse.
Do you have a mass casualty incident in downtown?
Oh my God.
Shotgun.
He knows the layout of the club, and he saw the shooter go to the north, further towards the patio. So Officer Gruller made his way around to the east side of the club and again exchanged gunfire with the suspect. And in the meantime, he's calling for backup. Multiple officers are responding.
There's a whole bunch of ambulance cops coming right now.
Over 300 officers from multiple agencies all through Central Florida responded. So as officers are getting there, assessing the scene, hearing the gunshots, they quickly realize, well, they have an active shooter situation. We need to form up several teams and go in.
Where's my son?
I know, sit down. Hey, sit down, sir.
Any Orange County units that may have engaged in gunfire advised?
We are working an active shooter. It's at Pulse.
Hear the screaming, and I look behind me and I see the bodies falling, and the VIP lounge, they were falling, and there's blood everywhere. The guy next to me shot, he falls, and I'm like, yep, I drop with him.
Hey, I get Seminole County Fire on the line. They want to send units to help.
If you could picture a nightclub at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's completely dark in there. There's strobe lights going, there's mirrors, it's very confusing, there's music going.
I'm just screaming, open the door, and no one's moving because they're scared. And there was only one choice: either we all stay there and we all die, or I could either take the chance to get shot, save everyone else. And I jumped over, opened that latch, and we got everyone as we can out of there.
Out of the office. They're coming out.
And you can see people running out of every exit, jumping over things, falling over each other. People are screaming.
Are you inside the club still?
Yeah.
Are you injured?
No.
Can you see the shooter? Or do you know?
I'm in the footing room with a whole bunch of people, and there was a lot of gunshots outside the footing room.
You're in the sitting room?
Yeah.
Okay. Stay in the safe.
They're shooting.
Stay at a safe location, or get to a safe location if you can. We have people on the way to the club. Okay?
Can you stand up home?
34 headquarters. Has that female in the bathroom said anything about the number of people that are in there?
It's coming through a text message that she's texting someone and they called us. They're afraid to text because they're saying the shooter is in there. They're saying that there is somebody injured in there, but we're not getting much 1014 out of that.
There's the triage on Orange and Cayley at the 7-Eleven. Yes. There's a way to get to several victims by going West Cayley from Delaney.
It's like something grabbed me, and I kind of fell onto my knees on the sidewalk, and my boyfriend's like, you gotta keep running, you can't stop. And I just said, they're still there. We left them there, we have to go back, and I wanted to go back so badly.
Do we have any more that are coming out, victims?
We are still dealing with victims inside.
I'll never forget that feeling of kneeling on the sidewalk thinking, the whole night flashing before me, the last thing they said, the last way they looked, the last way they looked at each other, and so that will stick with me forever.
Southwest corner of Cayley and Orange.
Everybody's just trying to get out. People were jumping the fence. People were jumping on tables to jump over the fence. All I saw was, unfortunately, when I looked in where my DJ booth is, I could see inside the club is just people laying on the floor.
Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up.
He goes up to the front, and I think that's when he's battling against the cops. I just hear shotguns going all over the place.
Your shield will not stop AK fire. It is not rifle certified. No shields we have on. Let's go! Let's go!
I'm looking up, and some cops, which I wish I can remember his face or his name, because to this day, I'm grateful for him. He looks at me, he makes sure that I'm alive, and he grabs my hand and he's like, this is the only way that I can take you out. I'm like, please carry me because I'm in pain right now. Couldn't walk or anything. So he starts to drag me out across the street to the Wendy's, and I'm grateful for him, but the floor is just covered in glass. So he's dragging me out while I'm just getting cut.
There's some others coming out. Got him. I got this one.
Please help my friends. They're
Okay.
up there. They're very injured.
They're coming.
Okay.
Is there no suspect up there? Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Hey, who has that pickup truck? We may be able to use it behind the I-5s once they start bringing more people off, please.
We quickly got about 5 patients, and that was a lot for us, and we thought maybe that was going to be it, and then they started lining up in the hallway. They weren't being brought in by ambulances. There was no paramedics coming in and giving us support and dropping them off.
It's chaos right now.
They were being dropped off in truckloads and in ambulance loads.
They're bringing them out this back door. Yeah, we got it. Keep them coming this way.
I think it's pure instinct. Hey, the hospital's right down the road.
Bring them back farther. Farther.
I have this pickup truck. Let's start putting these victims in the pickup truck. And I think they transported between 15 and 20 people on their own to the hospital, and they're instrumental in saving those lives.
I'm 10-12 with somebody getting texts from people inside.
And we quickly realized that there are hostages in both bathrooms.
All right, do you know what the shooter looks like?
No.
Okay, and no one you're with is injured?
No.
Okay. Listen, sir, I want you to stay where you are, where you feel safe, okay? Keep the phone with you. They have deputies working the incident, or officers working the incident, okay? I have to answer other calls, but keep the phone with you. Stay where you are if you feel safe there, okay?
No, he's gonna kill us.
All right, I'm with somebody who's texting with someone in the bathroom. The suspect is advised he's going to attach 4 vests to 4 people in 15 to 20 minutes in the different directionals of the club.
I want to let you know I'm in Orlando, and I did the shooting.
Throughout that period of hours, the gunman was in there with us, and he actually made a call to 911 from in there. Everybody could hear who was in the bathroom who survived. Could hear him talking to 911, saying that the reason why he's doing this is because he wants America to stop bombing his country. And from that conversation from 911, he pledged his allegiance to ISIS.
Tell me what's going on right now, Omar.
What's going on is that the airstrikes need to stop.
Yes.
Needs to stop.
And then based on his conversations, pretty quickly realized that we were dealing with someone who was self-radicalized and a terrorist.
Hi there, this is Orlando Police. Who am I speaking with, please?
You're speaking with the person who pledged his allegiance to the Islamic State, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, Hafidullah.
Okay, can you tell me where you are right now so I can get you some help?
No, because you have to tell America to stop bombing Syria and Iraq. They're killing a lot of innocent people. So what am I to do here when my people are getting killed over there? You get what I'm saying?
I do. I completely get what you're saying. What I'm trying to do is prevent anybody else from getting in.
Stop the U.S. airstrikes.
He was behind a glass bathroom door. So what a lot of people don't realize is an assault or an entry into that glass door would have been dangerous, not only for the officers, but more importantly, it would have been extremely dangerous for the hostages in there. So if you could picture yourself as the bad guy, as the suspect, and you see the glass door and you see officers approaching, we believed he would immediately open fire. And what do we know? That officers would have returned fire, possibly killing hostages. So to us, that was not an option. We had been communicating with him, trying to get this peacefully resolved.
And after that, he even spoke to us directly in the bathroom. He said, "Are there any black people in here?" I was too afraid to answer, but there was an African-American male in the stall where most of my body was, majority of my body was, had answered. And he said, yes, there are about 6 or 7 of us. And the gunman responded back to him saying that, I don't have a problem with black people. This is about my country.
No, they say there are 2 bathrooms. That was the first bathroom.
How many people are with you?
About 12, 15.
Everybody was just there quiet when I just be quiet, just be quiet. We're gonna be okay. For some reason I didn't feel scared. I wasn't nervous or anything. I was just trying to analyze the situation and figure out how I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh, my girlfriend's in the bathroom saying that there's 2 dead people and there's 18 people there and the shooters are in the club. And then all of a sudden she stopped texting me.
No amount of training or experience could have prepared anyone for the devastation and the carnage they saw that night.
Okay, everybody slow down. One person, I'll push the stretcher. 2 people to grab people, put on the stretcher.
There's an air conditioning unit. I'm about ready to push it out.
Scott, they're in the far southwest corner. It's going to be hot back here. We have the manager out here on the phone with somebody who's actually inside the building. We have intel from that aspect. Where do you want him?
Just stay calm. Stay calm, stay quiet for right now.
He says, where are you? He says, I'm in one of the dressing rooms.
We have at least 12 in the back, 2
dressing room.
And so the SWAT officers are looking to see where he possibly is. And he says, could you be in a room? Does it have an outside wall-mounted air conditioning unit? And the employee said, yes, that's the room I'm in. So very carefully, our SWAT officers went to that air conditioning unit and they tested it. They pushed it to see how secure it was, and they found that it wasn't that secure in that wall. So, and remember, this is only feet away from one of the bathrooms where the suspect was holding hostages. So they devised this plan, and they tell the patrons inside this bathroom, there were 8 of them in there, they said, look, this is what we're going to do. We are going to push that wall-mounted air conditioning unit in very carefully and very slowly, but here's what we need to happen. Number one, we need you to catch that on the inside and not make a noise, not make one sound. And so they did. And so they pushed that in, and they gently let it dangle by the cord, and they said, okay, we're gonna start. You're still talking to that person on the phone. We're going to start taking you out one by one. Oh, and one more thing, you were going to be the last one out. And you can imagine him with his surprise, and he goes, I need to know everyone else is out there, so I won't know until you tell me on the phone. So one by one, 8 patrons crawled out of that dressing room and were saved. And this is all going on while the suspect is holding hostages in the other bathroom and talking to our negotiators.
Everybody was running everywhere. Boom, boom, here.
But I don't know where my son is. No one can tell me where my son is.
Because you're going to hear a lot of noises. I don't want you to panic. Just kind of get everybody ready in the next few minutes, okay?
Because of the positive indication of the presence of explosives in his vehicle.
He wants to move all the way back.
You know, we felt that the best option then was to do an explosive breach on the outside and save as many people as we can.
Back behind the barricade.
Myself, Tierra Parker, and Akira, who didn't make it, was inside of, and I could see his feet like scooting back as he heard the police outside. And the last thing that I heard before the police said, move away from the walls, because obviously they were about to bust through again. He said, hey, you, to someone on the floor inside the bathroom, and shot them, shot another person.
Those explosions you're hearing, that's them working to get to you, okay? Just try to keep everyone calm. Let them know that's them coming to you.
3, 2, 1, and the bomb went off. And it was just all white. We were covered in white powder.
We are immediately across the street from the emergency room here at Orlando Regional Medical Center, right along Orange Avenue. And I want you to see what is going on behind me. This is looking south on Orange Avenue. You can see a very heavy police presence here right now. This is all outside the Pulse nightclub. Whoa, and we just heard a loud boom coming from just south of our location here. We don't know what that boom was, but I think you saw everybody react.
At approximately 0500 hours this morning, the decision was made to rescue hostages.
And all of a sudden, boom, boom, we heard that loud concussion explosion. And that rocked me. It rocked a lot. Everybody just came to a stop around ORMC. What was that? We wanted to know what that was. And so, honestly, I'm keeping my line of communication with Orlando Police open on Twitter. That's how I was communicating with the spokespersons. And I immediately picked up my phone and tweeted to OPD, what was that? And they responded, a concussion explosion.
The last person comes out, I guess the shooter came from behind and started shooting through the hole at the police. And that's when I got shot in the leg.
And you knew at any moment he could come back like that?
We didn't even know he was still in there. We thought he had left or he killed himself, or we didn't know where he was.
So when you
and there was 3 detonations inside the building, so that means he was hiding the whole time. My guess is that he was waiting for SWAT to come in there to get us so he can kill the police too. But the SWAT never came in. We went out through the hole that the SWAT made.
No idea. The SWAT guy took one to the helmet. He took 1 round to the helmet.
The suspect came out of that hole himself, armed with a handgun and a long gun, engaged in a gun battle with officers.
Wasn't that much longer after that. Nadine throws back to me live at the scene, and in the middle of talking, in the background you hear the of the guns going off inside Pulse. The hairs on the back of my neck just stood up talking about that. It was frightening. It was frightening just hearing that.
At that point, the officers instructed me to, like, lift my hands, drop whatever I had in my hands, and they instructed me to drag myself toward them. I yelled, I said, there are people shot, people who were killed in the bathroom, we need your help. But they weren't coming near me. They just told me to drag myself toward them. So once I got, I guess, close enough, a couple of the SWAT grabbed me by the arms and dragged me outside.
And I'm just getting word right now. Shooter is dead inside the nightclub, according to Orlando Police Twitter. That just came in 20 seconds ago. Pulse shooting, the shooter is dead inside the nightclub.
Today we're dealing with something that we never imagined and is unimaginable. Since the last update, we have gotten better access to the building. We have cleared the building. And it is with great sadness that I share we have not 20 but 50 casualties. In addition to the shooter, there are another 53 that are hospitalized.
I'm just taking notes, and Mayor Dyer started by saying confirmed 50 people dead, and I dropped my pen. And you guys didn't, the viewers didn't see this at this point because the news conference went on for several minutes, but we were frozen. I mean, tears started welling up in our eyes, and we were frozen when we heard the number jump to 50.
Well, we just got here not too long ago, and we know we have some friends that are in the hospital. I don't know exactly what's going on here. That's why we're here to figure that out.
I know he's going to be good. He's just that we haven't found it, and I don't lose faith or hope.
Erica, lots of loved ones hoping for some sort of clarity, and in many cases hoping that it won't end the way that they fear.
And Eric, unfortunately, I can tell you a little while ago, a team of doctors walked over here from ORMC into Hampton Inn, met, I'm assuming, with the families, and then family members came out just devastated, crying, holding one another, praying out loud. It was just such an emotional sight to see.
And as families wait for answers, the community is not waiting to get results.
No, they came out in force outside this blood bank. Look at that. It wrapped around the center on Michigan Street. The support's so vast. One Blood is now at capacity. They're asking people to come back in the coming days so they can kind of spread out their resources.
Good evening. All around the world, people are trying to come to terms with the horrific events that took place in Orlando this morning. On behalf of the whole theatre community and every person in this room, our hearts go out to all of those affected by this atrocity. All we can say is you are not on your own right now. Your tragedy is our tragedy. Theatre is a place where every race, creed, sexuality, and gender is equal, is embraced, and is loved. Hate will never win. Together, we have to make sure of that. Tonight's show stands as a symbol and a celebration of that principle. This is the Tony Awards.
The show is proof that history remembers. We live through times when hate and fear seem stronger. We rise and fall and light from dying embers, remembrances that hope and love last longer. And love is 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 love.